Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone, and what we have for you on this fine Wednesday is 4 brand new decks, as we always do. We have an amazing Scarlet Spider deck from Yo Woody MJ, the number 2 ranked player on the Infinite Leaderboard. We've got an awesome deck from Prodigy. It's a War Machine Pixie deck. That's one of the best War Machine decks I've played. We've got Sizer finally frickin' broke Move Bounce. It is now a tier 1 deck. I'm not sure if it's the best deck on Marvel Snap, but it is certainly in the conversation. A brand new tier 1 deck, but we're going to kick it off with our friend Buddy's Guardians Move. Buddy often builds Guardians decks. He really enjoys it, and he's very good, so he's able to predict opponents well and really make Guardians work. Adding the move to it, though, gives it enough power that I think this is actually a real deck for the first time since Alioth and Storm Lockdown when during the Ms. Marvel season last November. I think this is actually a real deck. This is a real Guardians deck that puts up enough power to be able to compete with the meta. You can find Buddy at twitter.com/BuddyLean. He is live on Twitter all the time. If you do have Twitter, please make sure you check him out. If you don't have Twitter, don't download it. The app is terrible. But Buddy is consistently on Twitter, consistently posting awesome decks. You need Madam Web, Alioth, and Jean here. Those 3 cards in particular have really great interplay. Putting Madam Web on Jean lets you get cards in and out of that lane as you want, and if your opponent has to play on that Jean lane to end the game, then Alioth is like an auto win if you have priority. So those 3 cards are absolutely needed, and unfortunately Ghost Spider can only really be Aranya. I'd like to remind you once more that Ghost Spider for at least another few days has a bundle in the shop where you can just buy that card. Alright, so Buddy immediately took this deck and went 14-0, going through silver twice and then gold twice, getting 2 infinity tickets, and then an infinity border was achieved with this list. Then our friend Jonesy went 15-0 with this on Infinite Ladder, and if you're interested in Jonesy's content, check out the Triple Threat on YouTube. So this list is legit, this is proven, this is an effective list. People will see the Guardians and underestimate you, so make sure you play this before people know about it, because I think that this is a serious competitor. Turn 1, you want to pass with this. You don't want to play that Rocket and all your move cards just sort of sit in hand early. Turn 2, you would really like to play Madam Web. You're fine dropping a Star-Lord rather than just passing, but obviously you're trying to read locations and figure out where they're going to do something. Turn 3, you want to play Jean Grey if possible. You can play that right on the Madam Web. Vulture is also perfectly fine to Madam Web here, or you can go like a Star-Lord and a Rocket if you know what they're looking to do. Turn 4, you want to get your moves started, or you can just Drax on Jean. Turn 5, again, you can get moves going with the Madam Web, the Ghost Spider type cards, or again, you can just drop a Gamora. And then turn 6 is either Alioth or Heimdall. If you've got a bunch of move cards, obviously Heimdall will often be better. Heimdall's also really great if you can force them to stack the right lane. Then you can Heimdall to end the game, move all your cards where they haven't been playing things to get more power, and then you win. There is an absolute ton to this. We're going to take one last look at this list, and then we're going to look at a 70% win rate move bounce, that Sizer list. So this is Buddy's Guardians move. Again, this is the best Guardians deck I've played since last frickin' November, and win rates guaranteed to go up if you have this gorgeous Star-Lord variant that they sold us last week. Hey, if you're willing to, we're trying to hit 15,000 subs, and we're getting ridiculously close. Thank you so much for the support. Hit that sub button, it would mean the world to us. We're trying to hit 15,000, and in return, we do 7 days a week of videos, and almost every day we have at least 4 new decks. We never have less than 3 new decks. We cover all the Marvel Snap news and have a once-a-week giant podcast as well. If you're willing to hit that like and comment button, it helps us fight the YouTube algorithm. All of your comments are really great for us in helping YouTube realize that they should show this channel to more people. So if you're willing, it would mean the world to us. In addition, we're giving away 5 season passes for the new Agent Venom season this week. This video, the comments to this very video, will have a Agent Venom. At some point in this video, coming up soon, I'm going to ask a question. When you answer that question, you are entered to win Agent Venom. Nice and simple, right? Every video, starting Monday and going through Friday's video, will have its own question. As long as you're subbed and you like the video, which helps us out, again, you are entered to win Agent Venom. The comment section of every day will have one winner. Sunday's video, we will announce the winner of the first 5 Agent Venom. And then next week, we're going to give away 5 more. So if you're interested, please do make sure you hit that sub button. Make sure you leave a comment on this video. Also, we have a new Pokemon channel. My son and I, along with our good friend Gunny T, have a new Pokemon channel called the Pocket Meta, where we're releasing a couple times a week videos about the new Pokemon Pocket TCG, which is like the Marvel Snap Pokemon game. It's supposed to be 5-minute games. It comes out October 30th. If you're interested, please do check that out as well. All right, this is Sizer's Move Bounce. We're going to break this down in extreme detail because this deck is absolutely insane. This is the best Move Bounce has ever felt. And I'm going to tell you, I did not have a winning record with this, but every single loss was a loss that was my fault. I would sit there and go like, oh my god, I just accidentally clogged myself, that kind of thing. Or, oh my god, I needed to actually play that card, not that card. This is a deck with a learning curve. However, I had a win every game I played. I kept playing this, like, and I ended up being fine with it once I got the hang of it. But like I started playing this and I was like, ooh, I'm losing rank. But I was like, oh my god, if I just did that, I win. Oh my god, if I just held that card or played that card here, I win. The most obnoxious loss I had was a turn 7 against an arishem list, and I just happened to drop Tribunal on the lane that they just happened to drop Echo in. I had no way to know I had Tribunal at that point. They just randomly were playing that extra Echo. That extra Echo slammed my Tribunal, and I lost the game for 8, which was obnoxious. But that kind of thing happens in Marvel Snap, right? There's just a lot of like, I just need to play this properly. If you play this properly, this can beat anything. It is genuinely freaking insane how strong this list is. I want Hercules in this so bad. I would literally play 13 cards in this list if I could get Hercules in here. Hercules as a move amplifier seems amazing, but as is, this deck is it. This is the deck. This is what you want to be playing. If you're willing to put the time in to learn, if you are at all good with move or bounce, play this list. All right, you can find Sizer on YouTube at Sizer2654. He's trying to stream on YouTube, so if you're willing to go show our friend some love, it would be great. He's also streams at the same username on Twitch, and he's got a much bigger audience there. Sizer, if you don't know, was the #1 player on the Infinite Leaderboard in December. Then he was #2 in both May and June, and then he was #1 in July. He's one of the best players in the world. He wins tournaments, competes at the top of the leaderboard. This list is wild. You need Tribunal, Madam Web, Aranya, and Ghost Spider, and that's kind of every high series card in the deck. I'm really sorry. If you don't have Aranya or Ghost Spider, you could maybe try Hercules, but you definitely need the others. This is just an expensive deck. And so our question of the day is, coming to the end of the month, Scarlet Spider is not a move card. How do you feel about moves' place in the meta? Has moves been too good for you? Has it been not good enough for you? Where do you land on your feelings about move this season? That is your question of the day to win the season pass. Hopefully leave a comment, and hopefully you win, friends. All right, let's go card by card for this list before we go turn by turn. So Aranya is an amazing key card, but one you want to see early. She, with Human Torch, if you can get any combo going, is often a snap condition, especially once you know what your opponent has. Human Torch with Aranya is the most powerful thing you can do in the deck because it immediately makes you that 1/8 Human Torch. Given the bounce cards, all you need is really 1 or 2 other moves, and you've got a 30-60 power Human Torch very, very quickly. Once you do that, the game is fundamentally over. You end up with a 60 power Human Torch. I ended up with 120 power Human Torches several times. You split that with Tribunal, and the game is over. Human Torch is incredible with Aranya. That first +2 is everything. However, you don't want to bounce Aranya. Aranya bounced will not give you a second move. Ghost Spider and Iron Fist will. So Aranya gives you that +2 that first time, right? But Ghost Spider and Iron Fist give you that +2 multiple times if you can bounce them, or that plus whatever, depending on what card you're bouncing. So Ghost Spider and Iron Fist are incredibly, incredibly strong in that. Be sure to try and stack them if humanly possible in the same lane, so should you end up beasting, you get to replay these cards. That should be relatively clear and simple, right? If you get to beast, you get to replay these cards, which seems also incredibly, incredibly strong. Playing Human Torch over and over again is the goal. However, Dagger often can get big enough. Vulture is less likely to get big enough, but you don't need Tribunal to win. You can just win off the big two big move cards, where a big Vulture wins one lane and a big Human Torch or Dagger win another lane. That is a perfectly acceptable way to win a game of Marvel Snap. Tribunal just gives you a way to go over the top when you only see one. And again, that one is ideally, unless you're playing a deck that's running Killmonger, ideally that Human Torch, which is again really, really useful because Iron Fist, Torch, and Ghost Spider for free with Beast is insanely strong. Meanwhile, Aranya is only amplifying the um, doubling of Human Torch. Everything else is just, the +2 is nice on Dagger or Vulture, right? But it doesn't do anything extra. Dagger is your secondary move. It is better than Vulture, largely because if you bounce it with Beast, it'll cost 1, which means you can replay Iron Fist Ghost Spider at the end of the game for free with Beast, and then your Dagger for 1, and then still have energy to Living Tribunal. This often leaves you with a 30, 40 something power Dagger, and if you had a decent sized Vulture from earlier in the game, you are winning Marvel Snap games. Dagger is otherwise your fundamental backup Human Torch, and she is incredibly good. Dagger is not the move card you necessarily want to start the game with, though. Unless you already have like all of your move stuff, Dagger gets held until later. There's one exception to this. I don't hate playing Dagger in a Madam Web lane early if I don't have anything huge going on and the opponent's going into that Madam Web lane, because if they do end up playing Red Guardian, I'd rather hit an early Dagger that doesn't really have anything going on. Madam Web is a key card for the list and a snap condition. She is the card of the season, at least in my opinion. She makes the deck go. If you see her along with anything else, you get to set up your bounce lane perfectly, which is just a thing of beauty, while also just being able to move other things around. A 9 power Vulture is often plenty here, as you're just trying to gain enough power, right? So your Madam Web can just chuck a Vulture somewhere, and then you can keep bouncing and moving your other powerful cards. Madam Web is awesome. Doctor Strange is in many ways the least effective card in the list. What he does have going for him that many other cards here do not is that he doesn't really care about your sequencing. He just cares about the highest power, which means you can play him at the end of the game in particular in order to get yourself that Human Torch or that Dagger in the lane you want it, often protecting it, because everything else, once it's on the board, is just going to say, well, if it's already on the board, you can just sort of get rid of it. It's open to tech. Doctor Strange is here because he fundamentally answers that problem for you. He's also just very good to bounce. A nice beasted Doctor Strange for 1/3, along with the 0 whatever Human Torch, is just another way to get some extra moves. You can often get a Human Torch, Iron Fist, and Doctor Strange in one lane to Beast, which is just insanely strong, because then you go re-Human Torch into Iron Fist into Human Torch into Doctor Strange, and then you just got a full second 3 moves on Human Torch. Sorry, 2 more moves on Human Torch, and it's doubling every time. Falcon's here because Ghost Spider, Iron Fist, and Human Torch are in the deck, right? You would really just like to get them back to hand so you can do the thing again. I don't know how much more complicated it is than that. Falcon is occasionally good against junk. Beast is occasionally good against junk, but they are here offensively more than defensively. You need extra turns to make all your moves for this list. Magic says you have extra turns to make all of your moves for this list. That's fundamentally it. You don't really have enough turns to actually end up playing the Tribunal if you're not going to play the Magic. So Magic is very important in the list. It gives you the turn you need with the turns you need with the extra energy to pull your combos off. She is dangerous though. Be wary, there's certain elements of Legion and Storm in the meta that can mess you up if you're running Magic. This deck, again, early on gave me very bad luck, where my opponent ended up hitting a Legion on turn 6 that ended up beating me by 1 in 2 lanes, and like just fine, right? Like I tried to play around it, but just slightly too much energy. Slightly too much power. You just have to be wary of that happening, and then if you realize that your opponent's running those cards, try and win without Magic, or use Magic as a false flag operation. Vulture is your I'm trying to win the mid-range game plan. He can get big enough to be Tribunal, but it takes a lot more work, even with +6. It's just a lot more work than Dagger, who often gets +12 each move, and Human Torch, who's getting like +30 each move. So 9 +6 each time seems like a lot, but it ends up not being. He is your I'm not really playing to Tribunal, but I do need to win a lane game plan. Beast obviously just goes with Falcon, right? Like, how Beast is played in this list is completely freaking obvious. He is a powerful card that can make the Ghost Spider, Human Torch, and Iron Fist free, and almost as important, not quite as important, but almost as important, can make Dagger 1 and Doctor Strange 1. I also find myself a reasonable amount of the time, not often, but a reasonable amount of the time, ending up bouncing Magic and just never replaying her because who cares? But that's perfectly fine. Be wary of hand space with Beast. As a 3/5, he's enough power to be respectable in that mid-range game plan, but his use is, again, specifically combo based. And finally, Tribunal. Tribunal is here because Torch and Dagger can get to insane power. If you can move Dagger 3 times, you've got 36 power fairly often, and you can often move her like 5 times. So if you can move Dagger up to 50-ish power, you're going to win a fair amount of games from Tribunal. However, what you're really trying to win with Tribunal is a stupid Human Torch. You can make yourself an easy 60 to 100 power, 120 power Human Torch without honestly way too much trouble. And once you can do that, Tribunal is fundamentally an auto win. That's what he's really here for. Everything else he does is nice, but that specific torch combo is how he wins the game. It's what he's really, really here for. Since he's only 9 power, not 10, and there's very little ongoing hate in the game, don't be afraid to play him on turn 6 as required. If you falcon back your move stuff on turn 5, you can just drop Tribunal on turn 6 and then go off. If you're going to play him on turn 7, then you want to make sure that you've beasted some stuff back on turn 6 in order to set up your combos properly. All right, so Sizer went 21 and 8 with 70% at top infinite. I didn't have time to talk too much, but the deck continued to dominate today. Turn 1, the only card you really play is Aranya. Turn 2, Madam Web, or if you have Torch, you can start getting off moves. If you want Aranya, then you could play either Iron Fist and Torch or Ghost Spider and Torch just fine. Remember to try and set these up into one lane so that you can beast Falcon effectively. Turn 3 is Vulture or Magic. I often just want to get Magic down and settled, but Vulture is perfectly fine, especially if you are still seeing a decent amount of Nocturne in the meta. Turn 4, you want some more moves or Falcon. Turn 5, though, I think my favorite play right now is Magic and Falcon on turn 5. Then I can replay my moves on turn 6 with Beast, and that's sort of my goal at this point. So in the list, you remember you want to get a lane on turn 5 if you can't Falcon them back that has at least like at least one and Torch or Dagger, but ideally 2 1s Torch and Dagger. You want that so you can beast on turn 6. You almost always want to beast on turn 6. If you're going to Tribunal on turn 6, please make sure you snap before you play it. And then turn 7 is Tribunal, and then the last of the free move. So really, really, really seemingly simplest to play. It's a brain bender to sequence everything right. This is going to take some practice, but this is a tier 1 deck. I don't know how else to say it. It would not shock me if with time, practice, and refinement, this was the best deck in Marvel Snap, and you got it here first. We're going to take one last look at this, then we're going to look at the Day 1 Scarlet Spider list from Woody. So again, last look at this. I was pretty sure that Tribunal and Torch were going to end up in one of the best versions of Move, and I think this is it. I think this is, again, the list. You want to bounce it so you can keep bouncing the move cards. It lets you reuse them to a point where Human Torch can get stupid, where Dagger can get stupid, and then Tribunal says, now I'm unbeatable. Unless you add the right tech card at the right time, this can beat anything. This makes... be wary of cards like White Widow. You're gonna end up using Beast for that. Falcon can handle your debris, but be wary of Legion, be wary of Nocturne. But the card that actually really frustrates me is Magneto, because Magneto can screw you up through sheer luck sometimes in a hella match. Outside of that, though, like unless they get lucky, you should just be able to handle them. If you're interested in gameplay for these decks, please check out the stream team. Today is Wednesday, so the wonderful GamingwithFlashX will be streaming. Go check out GamingwithFlashX on Twitch and on YouTube tomorrow morning. He'll have a video with these decks. Prashaun has yesterday's decks. All right. Yo, Woody MJ's Scarlet Spider try. And I was hyperbolic at the start of the video. I'm going to be completely honest. I think this card in this current meta sucks. I think it has potential. I think down the line, Scarlet Spider may be good. I think right now, this is not a card you want. I'm going to get expert opinions for you in tomorrow's video. But this is the only Scarlet Spider list I found at all that I thought was fun and reasonably effective. Outside of the one I shared yesterday. The one I shared yesterday worked fine. But like it had nothing to do with Scarlet Spider. This is one of the most replaceable cards to ever be replaceable. However, in this deck, it offers you 2 things. It offers you a way to discount Mockingbird by 1, and it offers you a card to Cersei for a free 5. It's also occasionally great with Gwenpool if you get lucky, although that does require an element of luck. You can find Woody streaming at twitch.tv/YoWoodyMJ. He is the current number 2 ranked player in the Infinite Leaderboard. If you're interested in the number 1 ranked player on the Infinite Leaderboards list, that was shared yesterday in yesterday's video. First, you need Gwenpool, Mockingbird, and Sage. Not bad, right? One's a Season Pass card, and 2 are recent Spotlight features. Cersei can be Sasquatch or Iron Man. I know Iron Man feels weird here, but Iron Man's just really, really good in decks that run gwenpool. Scarlet Spider can be Jubilee. Iron Lad can kind of be anything. It's just not an important card. White Widow and Kate can be Jeff or Cable. And Nocturne can be Red Guardian or Polaris. Nice and simple, yeah. So, I don't think Scarlet Spider's good, but I think this list is really fun and worth playing. So turn 1 you want Hood, turn 2 you want White Widow over Kate. You can play Mysterio if you have Mockingbird and either Cersei, because then you're not going to be able to play Mysterio on 5, or both Scarlet and Gwenpool, because then you can Gwenpool into Scarlet. So at that point, you're playing Mysterio early because that's your only time to do it. Turn 3 is Nocturne or 2. Turn 4 is meant to be Gwenpool, if possible. If not, you'll play Scarlet Spider. Turn 5, you Cersei. That's more or less, and then Scarlet is equal to Mysterio plus if you end up hitting whatever you hit with Gwenpool, right? If you hit Scarlet Spider with Gwenpool, play that. If you hit Mysterio Gwenpool, play that. Maybe this list wants Hope. I feel like Nocturne might want to be Hope here. All right, and then finally you end with Mockingbird and Sage or Shadow King, and if you got both Cersei and Mysterio off, and that Scarlet Spider clone, which is all possible, your Mockingbird could be free, right? Your Mockingbird could be totally free, and if you have a free Mockingbird, then you can play Sage, Shadow King, and Mockingbird, and you probably win those games. So again, there's stuff to like here. This is a powerful card in this list, but it's not my favorite thing ever. All right, next up, we're going to do some custom card challenge from the old Drewberry Discord. Hey, Drewberry, we miss you. And then we're going to look at a completely cracked War Machine Pixie. I've been trying to show you some super awesome decks at the very end of videos as like a reward for people who watch the whole damn thing. So this is Yowoody's Scarlet Spider try. He said his quote about the card is, "It's kinda ass." But the list is winning, right? So like, it's at least playable. It's at least solid here. Custom card challenge. We do every 2 weeks a custom card challenge over on the old Drewberry Discord. So this time was the Elders of the Galaxy and 5 and 6 cost cards, and I think we have only one winner this week. Yeah, we only did one winner because we had very few entries. We only had 4 entries, and I didn't want 50% of the people who entered to win. That doesn't feel like much of a competition. So if we want more winners, we got to do some more entries. Our winner is the Challenger from the Artist. This card is kind of awesome. Transform the text of the last 3 unrevealed cards you played into Activate, which seems like it's OP, right? Except it's on a 5/3 body, which is a little, like, not that great. Yes? So you're playing a terrible body, and you need a card like Magic or something, and you're going to get a second unreveal trigger as an Activate. So, before you play your next card... Oh, I don't know why I didn't change that. Let's ignore that Activate. That was the last week's winner, which was, what the hell was it? 2 weeks ago, the winner was Nate Gray. That's Nate Gray's. All right. So this messes with on-reveal synergy like Odin and counters like Cosmo. The cost means you only have 1 turn to activate unless Magic, but if you can get a Black Panther with an Activate, that seems really good, although it will turn off your ability to Zola that Panther after that. Iron Fist, Strange, and other movers really like this. So would like a Surfer, so would like a Hitmonkey. Wave and cards like Dr. Doom are really happy. Corvus Glaive into Hellcow. It is like, this makes Corvus Glaive into Hellcow, a Hellcow that gives you 1 extra energy. The Guardians would absolutely adore this. They get to trigger upon reveal, and then you get to activate them to end the game. So if the opponent plays something there, they get bigger. You can... Sorry, I guess it wouldn't work with Goblins because the last 3 cards you played, not the last 3 cards your opponents played. But I would love the idea of a second Juggernaut with this card being extremely face-up, but extremely difficult to play around. I think this would be super cool, and I'd be excited to play it. The artist also made a couple of variants, both of which are great. One is Purging, and the other one is just a really cool like piece of art. I like the art on the right one better than the left one, the sort of bluish one over the reddish one, but I think both are really cool. I would play the crap out of this card. I think it's super fun. So props to the artist for the win. Next challenge ends 10-7. The keyword is destroy, and we're going to do Venomized or Nullified as our theme because Venom is the movie coming out in October. So Venom 3 is coming out in October, so we're going to thematically do Venomized or Nullified with the keyword destroy. If you'd like to participate, please join Drewberry's Discord, linked in the description to this video. And if you want to make your own custom cards, check snaptracker.me/custom. Our final deck of the day is Prodigy's Firestarter. It's not actually called Firestarter. It's just I'm a child of the 90s, so when I see the word Prodigy, I immediately think of Firestarter. All right, this list is phenomenal. Like, this is really good. I've seen a lot of top players playing this. Our friend FaThorNewman ended up with this 60% win rate. I hid this at the end, but it is genuinely stellar. This is one of the best Pixie decks. I'm gonna tell you, when I play this, and I played this a bit, I replaced Red Guardian with Hope Summers because that gives me I just missed on everything. Hope Summers into ideally Cull Obsidian or even some cheaper stuff into pass She-Hulk Infinite, which is strong enough to be a valid backup plan for me. That doesn't win all that much, bluntly, right? Like, unless you have Sunspot out, that's a fine play, but not really a game-winning play. So it's not like super worth going out of your way for, but I do like Hope Summers here. However, this list is awesome. All right, so you can find Prodigy at twitter.com/ProdigySnap. This deck needs War Machine, Pixie, and Mobius. Nico and Bob are just good ones. They can be Iceman, Nightcrawler, whatever the best ones you have are. Red Guardian can be Nocturne, Gladiator, Polaris, or Hope. Red Guardian is great. In particular, Red Guardian is great because hitting a El Cow or hitting a Madam Web are both stellar. And Cull Obsidian is awesome, but Cull Obsidian can be Crossbones. Cull Obsidian is Crossbones is particularly good if you actually keep Hydra Bob in the list. All right, so this just keeps winning. So turn 1, you want Sunspot unless Nico is perfect, and perfect Nico is a draw or a demon onto Pixie. Turn 2, I'd very much like to play Pixie. If not, you're just dropping one of your ones. Turn 3, Mobius is usually better than Red Guardian, although again, Red Guardian, if you've got a Madam Web, is Chef's Kiss. I'd play that over anything. Turn 4, you want to drop War Machine, and that's over Cull. Turn 5 is the same thing as 4, War Machine over Cull. And then turn 6 is just your good old Infinite. And that's how you win. Don't be afraid to occasionally, if you're just whiffing on things, pass on turn 3 if you don't have a really good play on turn 3, especially if you have Sunspot out, and then you can end up playing that She-Hulk on turn 4 and then passing into Infinite on turn 6. This list is really cool. The real power of the list is Pixie, which I can't do in a turn by turn, right? Because Pixie messes things up. But She-Hulk with Pixie is great because if She-Hulk is anything cheaper and you've passed any energy, She-Hulk gets amazingly cheap. And any sort of discount on Infinite is amazing because if you get Infinite to even 3, you can now play it with something else of very, very good power, which is just awesome, right? Like, any of these things are game winners. So please do check this list out. I do not think you'll regret it. This is one of the best lists in the whole game, and I snuck it in at the end for those of you who stuck with me. Questions of the day, Patreon, and we're out of here for the day. So our first question is from Query, who asked what new locations I'd like to see, and I know he wants me to give effects for those locations, but I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what effects I like on locations. Whenever I've tried to design locations and they put anything similar in the game, I kind of hate it, so I don't know what I want, but I know some of my favorite Marvel things that aren't in it is I'd love a blue area of the moon, the Star Jammer, Latveria and Castle Doom, Hell, and Genosha. Those are some places I'd really, really greatly enjoy seeing in Marvel Snap. Miles asked what the silliest thing I did in Snap this week is. I had a good answer for that, and it's just sort of gone. But it's probably just one of my like 10 million symbiote Spider-Man things. The silliest thing I heard happen in Marvel Snap this week is the silliest thing that Gunny did is he played a whatchamacallit. He played a symbiote in a 7-turn game. He played a 2099 on Madam Web, moved it to kill something, hit it with where it moved, hit it with a symbiote Spider-Man, and then pulled it with Ghost Spider into another lane, and it got a second kill, which is awesome. But if you want to see the silliest play ever in Marvel Snap, you need to get on Twitter and check out Lufku9. I don't want to show you his clip, although Lufku, if you see this and you give me permission, I would happily. Lufku played JJ Rolk in a tournament, and it is the most wild and insane clip of Marvel Snap gameplay you will ever see in your whole life. So go check out Lufku9 for that on Twitter. And again, if you're fine with me sharing that Lufku, let me know and I'll pop it in a video. All right, Ryan Wood asked to see what archetype I'd like to see a new season around, and the answer is Bounce. But the answer should be Opponent Move. I think Opponent Move could really use some more pieces and some more tech to go to it. I wouldn't hate seeing Apocalypse Discard get something going. I just think Apocalypse Discard is really fun, like Classic Discard is really fun, and it's just inconsistent enough to be right below the meta. I'd kind of like a card that works as like when you discard this, it does a tech thing, but I just don't want it to be in Hella. I wish Hella didn't exist so we could actually like buff discard properly. That would make me very, very happy. And finally, Greg is fun asks the best flavor of Oreos, and this is a very sad answer. The only decent flavor of Oreos is classic Oreos, but Oreos are horribly and ridiculously overrated. Chocolate chip cookies over Oreos every single day of the week. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'd like to say thank you to Abigail Geeslin, Mandatory Burnout, Cables. Hope you're doing well, Cables. You gotta reply to my message. Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, Always Kind, LAB, FaThorNewman, we talked about him earlier, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., I am Frostman, we know you are, Jay Never Eats, Corbin, Primed Ryan, hey Ryan, hope you're doing well, Ryan Burke, Burgav, here Tixley, King of Questions, Koirei, coming all the way from Japan, we just saw a question from Koirei, Black Dahlia, my alliance leader, Rofros, hey Pyro, The Goat Seeker, hope you're doing well, Goat, Den Man Falcon, check him out on YouTube, great split content, Archangel 3K, hey, Quid Pro Joe, hey Joe, Doc D, the king of new Marvel Snap card content, Rat Nick, hopefully you're feeling better, my friend, Mr. Kerr Fuffle, Ginger Prime, hey Ginger, Philip Ratkovich, killing it with the shorts, we'll have another one, we had another one live, if you haven't checked out our shorts, please do, Ratko does an amazing job, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, quite notorious, Xorce V and Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, who won Semters League Season 1, The King of Bros, bruh, The Great Kazoo, womp, Jessica Campbell, hi Jess, Woody, killed it with the questions yesterday, Kev C. Hoda, Luna Chris, Time for Q-Town, Quantum Quinn, John Q, and Jimmy McQ, Lamb, 8th, Sage, Mod Supreme Models, the one and only Darth Taylor, No Joe K, Joe P, Real Name Town of Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, and Jason B, J. D. McDonaldinho, who apparently bullied Jeet or Jet into finally streaming, which is amazing, The Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrumix, Woot, Matt H., the one and only, DJ Mikey Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, no riffs here, Mr. Craig Sterry, Seamus, Jonesy, who we talked about, who crushed it with that first deck, my former alliance leader and good friend, Two Ties, the great Lauren Whatevs, the Pirate King, Tuccrr, the homie Min, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. We got to actually talk about Tuccrr. Tuccrr did the video on Marvel Snap for Scarlet Spider. Y'all should 100% check that out. Go watch the homie Tucker's video. If you're interested in the Pokemon channel, boom, there's a video. You get to meet my son in that one. Say hello. There's also yesterday's video that has the #1 deck in Marvel Snap. And right below me is a sub button, so don't miss out on clicking that too. We'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take where we'll have expert opinions on Scarlet Spider. Let's see if people agree with Woody with the kinda ass. Peace.